Hey there everyone, it's Scott once again and welcome to another video. This time it's going to be a Blu-ray DVD update, mainly Blu-rays and one DVD. And hopefully I can keep this video short because I have quite a bit of stuff to cover. And yeah, I'm back to using my phone unfortunately because of the problems on YouTube and their YouTube live stream. When I tried to do something last week it started acting up and I don't know if it's going to have the same problem, so I don't feel like messing with it. Plus this phone is charging up, and also I don't exactly have a program that's linked to my integrated webcam where I can record directly from it. So yeah, I'm back to using this. And that's why I have it charged up. That way I don't lose any power. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and get off to what I got recently and what I bought and didn't buy. And I'm about to show this off right now. For the Black Friday sale, let me get all this straightened out. Alright, for the Black Friday sale, I'm going to start off with this film, The Martian. Had Matt Damon in it. Saw this in theaters back in 2015. Well worth it. Got a good amount of features. You got 2 different cuts on there. I've read about this. I've been wanting to get it, but never got around to it. Now I'm glad I have it. Only cost me $6 and change. Well worth it. Next up here is, I know people don't really care much for this film. Some people loved it or hated it. I didn't mind it. I thought it was a time waster. This is Aquaman. It's got a good amount of features, and really the only thing there isn't really much of anything coming out in December of 18, so I figured I'd go ahead and watch it, and it was an IMAX. Definitely nice, good visual spectacle. It's a film that didn't take itself too seriously, and it's definitely better than the recent DC movies like Batgirl vs. Super Asshole and Justice League, so yeah. But anyways, fun little film, well worth it. It only cost me $6 and change. And next up here, another film that cost me $6 and change is the underrated Will Ferrell comedy Anchorman. And it's the Rick Mahogany edition, unrated. And apparently, apparently there's like 3 different cuts, I guess. I guess you have the theatrical and unrated on disc 1 because it says there's 2 versions of the film in HD. Then disc 2 has the Wake Up Ron Burgundy, the Lost film, remastered in HD. Then, of course, you have a commentary by some of the cast members, and you have 36 deleted and extended scenes, so that's a shitload of footage right there, so that's kind of cool. Afternoon Delight music video, raw footage, good takes, class auditions, yeah, so much more. So $6 and change for 2 discs and 3 different cuts. Hey, that's pretty good if you ask me. Brand new. I've been curious about wanting to get this, so hell yeah. Next up here is the film I saw back in February. I thought it was well worth it. I thought it was better than Captain Mannequin, if you ask me, and that's Alita Battle Angel. I thought the cast did a good job. I thought it captured some of the, I think the CGI for what it was used, I thought, captured the motion, the animation in general, I think was done very well. Visually, it was well done. Of course, if it's a James Cameron produced type film, it's to be expected. I just wish he would get off his lazy ass and release a Blu-ray of The Abyss, because that's a very underrated film of his that seems to go on the radar. But I enjoyed Alita Battle Angel. Maybe when I rewatched it again, there might be some apparent flaws, but anyway, suffice it, it's definitely, worth owning, I think, to me. Next up, I did enjoy this film. I did have problems with that. It's the final entry in I'm going to show it. It's the Avengers Endgame. I liked the film. I had a problem with the Fat Thor, and I had a problem with Professor Hulk. I wasn't a fan of that. Fat Thor seemed to get owned a whole lot, too, as well, so wasn't fond of that. But it did have a good Captain America moment when he was smashing Thanos with Thor's hammer. So yeah, it was definitely worth that for that moment. So, but anyway, it had some good action sequences. I liked the film okay. A good solid ending to the Avengers saga. And speaking of which, I am going to be trying to complete my MCU Universe Blu-rays, except the ones I won't be buying are Captain Mannequin and Black Panther, which I did see. I thought it was alright, but I don't know if I want to pay that much for it, and to me it was overrated. If someone wants to buy them from me and send them to me, I'll take them, but I'm not going to buy them. And speaking of which, I'm going to go ahead and go to that, even though these are the films I recently bought. These films here are the ones I recently got, for my Marvel collection. Both the Ant-Man films and Guardians of the Galaxy. Because I have the second one, but I never got the first one. Because for some reason, anytime I try to buy the first one. It was way overpriced, but luckily I only paid $10.81 brand new. Even though this says it's like nearly $30, luckily I didn't pay that much for it. It's definitely not worth $30 if you ask me, but hey. Marvel and Disney really tend to overvalue their Blu-rays and DVDs. I don't know why, but they think they're hot shit. And I don't think they really are hot shit all the time. Just certain franchises are. But I think their prices are tad much for me to buy, so that's why I wait. I hope they lower it into the lower teens. That way I don't have to pay the upper price for it, like the upper $19.99 or even 20 something and change. So yeah, but luckily, well, this cost me 20 something, but at least it was worth it. At least it was 2 movies. It cost me like 23 and change. And this is actually a region free set that I bought because I think it was a little higher if I bought it, the set together or something like that. But anyway, Slice, I'm glad to have these films. I thought Paul Rudd did a great job in the lead role as Ant-Man, and Chris Pratt did a really good job as Star-Lord, and the Guardians of the Galaxy, and of course its sequel. So yeah, both are well worth owning to me. So they're fun little engaging action-packed comic movies for sure. So yep. I was going to show this one that I bought, the final one that I bought on Black Friday. Those other 2 I didn't, but I figured I'd go ahead and throw that in there because of the MCU. This here was my favorite film of the year. I enjoyed the hell out of this film. It was fun and just downright entertaining, and that's John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum. It was well worth it. I fucking love this film. It was fun. It had some good sequences with the sword fight on the motorcycles. In the beginning, where he's trying to fend off some people trying to kill him, he actually attaches some kind of there's a horse, and he attaches the strap to the guy, and he slaps on the horse's ass, I think it is, and the horse drags him out. So I thought it was a fun little scene. But anyway, you have a gunfight scene which is kick-ass. I loved the hell out of this. It has great action sequences. Keanu Reeves still kicks some major ass considering his age. He takes the martial arts skill of jiu-jitsu seriously, and it's well worth it. It doesn't matter what kind of performance Keanu is given. He's fucking John Wick. He nails this role down, and this is his magnum opus for sure. And I hope they don't fuck up the 4th one, where they kill him off in such a pathetic, stupid, shitty way. Don't do that. John Wick 3 kicks ass. Let's hope that Chapter 4 is going to up the ante a bit more and be even more badass. So yeah. Hell yeah, love this film. I even saw it in IMAX. That's how much I really enjoyed the hell of this flick. Well worth it. I know I'm praising it, but hey, what the fuck. I love the hell of this film. Hopefully I'll do a review of it soon, but anyways, there you go. Well worth it. Next up here is the Blu-rays that my mom got me a day before my birthday. And I was always curious about this, but here it is, The Polar Express. It was written by, I remember reading the book by Chris Van Allsburg. He did other books, I think Jumanji and The Sweetest Fig, I think the ones he did, but I don't remember. But yeah, I enjoyed the hell out of those books. But The Polar Express stuck with me. A train coming in at night, imaginary train. Just a nice little childhood classic right there. And it's got a good amount of features too. And of course, it's got Tom Hanks. So what more can I say? It's definitely a good film. Plus, it was directed by Robert Zemeckis. He did films like Back to the Future, Romancing the Stone, which I have reviewed on this channel. And he also did Forrest Gump. He did Castaway and What Lies Beneath. He actually did those films back to back. I won't go into the history, but those were entertaining flicks nonetheless. But yeah, very glad to have this. I'm curious to check this out. I've never seen this. I would think it's going to be good. It's an animated film. So yeah, glad to have this. Well worth it. Next up here, I have seen this film before. I remember liking the kind of twisted love story that it had between this mute chick and this sea creature, and that's The Shape of Water. It's very well acted. It's directed by Guillermo del Toro. He did films like Blade 2, Mimic, the first 2 Hellboy films. He should have done the 3rd one, but fucking Columbia Studios or whoever it was made the fucking idiotic decision to go with the reboot, which looked like shit. But anyways, this is a good film. I remember enjoying the hell of it. Well worth it if you ask me. So yeah, glad to have it. The next up is the 8th entry in the Fast and Furious franchise. I have the previous 7 Blu-rays, but I figured I'd go ahead and let my mom get this for me. And yeah, I didn't have Paul Walker in this, but I still thought it was a fun and entertaining flick because The Rock and Jason Statham had very good chemistry. They played well they played well off each other. Charlize Theron was a good villain, and all the cast members, have their moments. They do a great job, and it's got some nice little fun action sequences, especially with the submarine. So well worth it. Glad to have it, and kicks ass. Not as much as John Wick 3 does, or even John Wick 2 for that matter. Next up here, I bought this last week, and it was well worth it. I hoped I would get it with those other 3 Blu-rays, but my mom couldn't really fit it in, so I figured I'd go ahead and get it, and that is the Arrowhead release of RoboCop. And this version has 2 different cuts, has a shitload of features. This movie is jam-packed with features. You have a lot of new commentaries, documentaries. Like I said, both the theatrical and director's cut have been remastered in 4K, a 4K restoration of the original camera negative by MGM, and it's been director approved by Paul Verhoeven. And you have you have another cut that has that's like a edited for TV cut. It's only in standard definition, but it's cool to have, and some other features on there as well. So I'm very glad to have this. It's jam-packed with features, and it has several different cuts. You can't go wrong for it only being like 24 something, especially when the normal price would be like 34 something, and it wasn't even much cheaper on eBay. So I'm very glad to have this. It's well worth it. And this was my childhood film right here, actually, and it was the very first R-rated VHS that I got as a kid. So RoboCop definitely holds a special place in my heart. So love this film. Still kicks ass to this day. I do have the previous Blu-ray, but this, I'm going to probably get rid of that one and just keep this one. This is well worth it, I think. And it's got different, soundtracks. It's got the 2.0, the 4.0, and the 5.1 remixes. So this Blu-ray has everything that you ever asked for. So well worth it. Fucking kicks ass. Glad to have it. Then last but not least, my dad got me this as my birthday gift, a late birthday gift, and I got this yesterday. And I always enjoyed some of these episodes and the actor himself, and that is The Equalizer with Edward Woodward. I did show this off in Barwin's stream actually, but I don't think everyone else saw this, so I figured I'd go ahead and have it and go ahead and show it off. But I'm very glad to have this because it has all 88 episodes of this, all 4 seasons. Edward Woodward, for the time, did a hell of a job in this role. He even had a heart attack in season 3, yet he managed to come back and finish that season and do the next season afterwards. So the character of Robert McCall is someone you don't want to mess with, and Edward Woodward brings a certain element to this. Considering his age, he was like in his late 50s or early 60s when he did this, he really can show that he's somebody that you don't want to mess with. Like, he has some cool lines like, all you need to know is I need to crack you wide open. And someone says to him, "Go to hell! After you, sir! After you!" Or when he confronts this corrupt cop and he bashes his head against the wall and he says, "I do not forgive! I do not forgive!" So yeah, you have some great character moments. And I've seen the Denzel Washington sequel. I haven't seen the first one. He was okay, but nothing beats this guy here, Edward Woodward. He really nails this role. He actually won 2 awards for his role. And so yeah, I'm glad to have this, and it's well worth it. Hopefully I can do a review of this at some point. If not, I'm going to be watching the hell out of this, so yeah. Glad to have it. And that's pretty much it. Sorry for this video for being this long, yet again. I hope you enjoyed what I showed off to you, my Blu-ray collection, and other Blu-rays that I hope to come, like Avengers Age of Ultron, which I will get, and maybe Iron Man trilogy, and then Doctor Strange, and I think that's it. So, yep. Okay, I'm going to end it here. I will see you in another video, folks. See ya.